and now the masts are built by those two companies. Yes, ATC and Ubuntu. And where they have no interest because of business, then the government comes in using this fund. Now, sometimes...
Honourable Minister, can we request?
Yes.
Okay? That we can put our officer, a desk here in front for members of parliament who don't have network in their areas to register with their contacts. In fact, you can put your officer. Okay?
Actually, as a way of update, I made that offer here in the House and requested the honourable members to write indicating areas where there is no or poor network, and many members wrote. You wrote yes, and I'm now giving you an update. But I still agree with you. You can still write. We shall put a desk here and put those letters. And since then...
Not letters. Sorry for interruption, Honourable Minister.
Yes.
But I just wanted to make it very easy for you.
Yes.
You bring your officer here.
Yes.
We provide the desk.
Yes.
I'm going to instruct the clerk. We provide the desk here. We can even say Thursday or tomorrow. Okay? And the members register.
Yes.
So that your officer is able to ask for details they would want.
Okay.
Okay? And our MPs register, that the information goes straight. You discuss it.
Yes, right, Honourable Speaker. And tomorrow, beginning at 8, the officer will be here in Nairobi. Then you indicate the areas. Why this is important is that we passed a loan here in this House, which is being implemented by NITAU, supported by the World Bank. And we have up to 180 masts which we are going to build under that project. Number two, UCC under this fund is also this year building 53 masts. I have spoken to ATC, the lead private company. This year also they are doing 130 masts. So the importance of now you registering, especially those who never wrote, then we have to capture those areas and discuss with these NITAU, UCC, and those private providers to capture all these areas. But I will take special interest in the Honorable Repe Moses, who says he's even using his personal money. You shouldn't to erect masts. So I will engage with you. If it requires me or my technical team to come to your constituency, I will send them so that they check and get the coordinates, and we include you in these arrangements. Right, Honorable Speaker. Time is not on my side. Let me just conclude by... We have time? Okay. In terms of connectivity...
Honorable, you've allowed the coup.
Someone is taking over the chair and giving me more time.
Please conclude, Honorable.
Right, Honorable Speaker.
I have another item I want us to handle.
The Parliament has been supporting the sector by approving resources to construct what we call the national backbone infrastructure. This is, in simple terms, the internet fiber, the cable which extends internet. And we've done 4 phases, but covered 57 districts in Uganda. We have passed 2 loans, and I gave an update sometime. I need to prepare another update. We passed 2 loans, one supported by the World Bank, the one I've made reference to, and the other one supported by the China Exim Bank. And the World Bank project is going to extend the fiber to 20 more districts, and then the Chinese loan will extend to the rest of the country. So in the next 2 years, we should be able to have all districts in Uganda connected with this national backbone infrastructure. And we also have a component of doing what we call last mile connections. Last mile connections means you extend the main route or the main line, but also you connect the institutions like district headquarters, sub-county headquarters, schools, health facilities. So that component is there in the money which we passed. So especially the Chinese loan is mainly for NBI and other forms of infrastructure, whereas the World Bank loan has that issue of infrastructure, but also data centers and also automation of government services, what some of you were raising, that there should be better linkage and the provision of e-services within the government structure. So they are being addressed, but I will prepare a comprehensive report to give an update on how far we've gone and also how these projects are being implemented. I think the Honorable Enos was raising the issue of the satellite. Yes, there were maybe two issues. There was the satellite developed by students in Japan under the Ministry of Science, Technology and Innovation. That one was not addressing technology and ICT. I think it was in issues of weather and so forth. But the East African countries are in the advanced discussions to procure and launch a regional satellite. There was actually a meeting 2 weeks ago in Juba by the technical people making arrangements. So there is an arrangement. We didn't want to go it alone as a country because of the expenses, but we have agreed as a region to have a regional satellite to supplement all these other sources of connectivity that we have been discussing. And that will be able to help us in the mountainous areas like where Lope comes from and my place, Chigezi, where you get areas with internet shadows. Once we use satellite, we should be able to cover those. On the lakes and the other areas where this infrastructure, like NBI, may not easily be extended. The Honorable Laura, yes, we have computers which have that software for the learners with disability. Yes, the computers are there. I just have to check how many have been given through this arrangement. Lastly, I think the leader of opposition was raising the issue of whether we can engage with the neighboring countries. Yes, that engagement is there. There is what we call the one network area. And indeed, if you've been moving in the East African countries, like say 2 years ago, it was very difficult to be in Tanzania and you use your mobile phone to call Uganda. But these have been worked out, Kenya, Tanzania, and we continue to work with the neighboring countries. Even the NBI, the National Backbone Infrastructure, the reason why the cost of internet has continued to come down is that we continue to connect it and hook it to the East African countries. Like the main route has been through Kenya, because we are a landlocked country, we get this fiber from under Indian Ocean through Kenya, but we have since linked it with the Tanzanian network, the Rwanda network, DRC network, and that's why the cost keeps getting down. So we have that regional integration effort to ensure that in the areas of technology we work together. Since I have pledged to bring a comprehensive update to the House, I think in the next like 2-3 weeks, I will prepare a comprehensive report that touches all aspects of digital transformation. And if you give us opportunity, we can have a bigger debate on where we are and how far we have moved. But I want to thank the honorable members for the positive comments you have made. Our challenge is resources, and since we are now in the budgeting process, we are engaging with the Ministry of Education and Sports to quantify what we need in terms of providing computers to all the remaining schools and see what we can raise through Ministry of ICT and what can be raised through the Ministry of Education so that we don't create inequality. Because right now, because of financial challenges, there are learners who have access to computers and there are learners who don't have access and they sit the same exams. So I beg that through the budgeting process, we address that gap so that our learners have the same opportunities across the country. I thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Honorable Minister. Thank you. His time is up. He's no longer on the floor, please. His time is up. So, Honorable Minister, I think it will be difficult for you, to be honest, considering the period we are in and the schedule we have, to bring here comprehensive statement. So what you do, please present it to the committee so that it can be helpful in processing the ministerial policy statement. Let them have a detailed discussion with you. Otherwise, even if I promised you now, space on the order paper will be very difficult because of the budgeting period. No, that one I'll do later. Just wait. I'm happy you're here and your policy statement is ready. So after adopting, then I will give you space. We go back. Honourable Minister for Energy in 2 minutes, because yours are general issues. You don't need to go specific.
Thank you very much, Right Honourable Speaker and honourable colleagues. It is true that Uganda is not yet at 100% access to electricity. So my sister, Honourable Sandra, my brother Okello, and the rest of the members of Parliament who have raised the issues of their areas, their schools not being connected, is because of that. We still have that percentage of Ugandans who have not yet gotten access to electricity. 3-4 years back, access to electricity was 57%. On the national grid, it was 19%. We've just reached 60%, where 28% is on the national grid and the rest is on other sources, mainly solar. The good thing is that we've been moving with you year in, year out. You are the people who have been supporting the budget. You know how much money we appropriate. Today we've laid the ministerial policy statement where we have our proposed budget. We shall go through it and you will see what the ministry has prepared. We are not lamenting. You helped us to amend the Electricity Act of 1999, where you opened up for private sector investment, where we are now calling upon private people to invest in independent power transmission and independent power generation, so that instead of relying on the national treasury alone, we have private sector investing in the sector where they will be paid back through the tariff. But again, we are obliged to maintain or even reduce the cost of power. So we've been moving together. I am aware that there are sub-counties which are not yet connected. And yet, our policy is to go beyond the district, go to the sub-county, and to the load centers. Health centers, schools, seed schools, technical schools are part of the load centers which we are supposed to connect. So we shall discuss the ministerial policy statement, the budgets, and we see what we can do within the limitations that we have. It's not that we don't mind, but it's because of the limitations. And hope is there, because right now we talk about 60% access. There is hope. And once the economy improves, I know my docket is one of the key priorities because it spurs development of other sectors. Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker. I want to thank you for the continued support and the support of members of Parliament. Thank you.
Thank you, Honourable Minister. I now put the question that the report of the Committee on Information, Communications Technology and National Guidance on the Uganda Communications Universal Service and Access Fund be adopted with proposed amendments. Those in favour sign to the content. The ayes have it. Thank you, Honourable Chair. Congratulations, and thank you, Honourable Minister for ICT, Honourable Minister for Energy, and Honourable colleagues for handling this matter expeditiously, so that these issues are considered when appraising and processing the ministerial policy statement. Honourable colleagues, the Minister for ICT is here, and today we are receiving ministerial policy statements. He had asked me earlier for permission that he was coming in late, so I would want to allow him to present the ministerial policy statement. Crack.
Laying of papers, Minister of ICT and National Guidance.
Honourable Minister.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker and honorable members. I beg to lay the ministerial policy statement for financial year 2025-26 for vote 020, Ministry of Information, Communications Technology and National Guidance, and vote 126, National Information Technology Authority, Uganda, in accordance with Section 13 of the Public Finance and Management Act. I beg to lay.
Thank you, colleague. Thank you, Honourable Minister. The postal statement stands referred to the Committee on ICT for processing. Now, honourable colleagues, I've seen there is a meeting tomorrow between the mover of item number 6, that's contract farming bill 2023, and the Attorney General and the Chair for reconciliation purposes. I met them today. They requested me that we wait, they first reconcile a few issues to do with the bill. So I checked through item number 7. The report is short. I want us to also receive it. We receive the report. We even debated so that we resume when we are going, I think on Thursday, when we are going on committee stage. So next item.
Item number 7 on the order paper, bill second reading, the Engineering Professionals Bill 2024.
Honourable Minister, I received the communication from the Minister for Works requesting that the Minister for National Guidance stands in for him. So, Honourable Minister, you move the motion.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker and honorable members. I beg to move that the bill entitled the Engineering Professionals Bill 2024 be read the second time. I beg to move.
Is the motion seconded? Minister for Energy, State Minister for Local Government, Chair for ICT, UPDF, I have a Fande Aranyo, Fande Nekesa, sister, Doctor. No, but that's where I am. Yeah. I'm on your side. Dr. Kagabo, Nevorita, Muzei Abudu, he has no back. Honorable Wanka, Honorable Gori, Honorable Vitungo, and many members of this house, Honorable Kori, Honorable Taringaya. Yes. So, Honorable Minister, would you want to justify the motion? Honorable Chibaju.
Yes, thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker. Just a brief justification of the bill. The Engineering Professionals Bill is meant to regulate the engineering profession, just in brief, because professions are usually regulated, whether you speak of medical doctors and other health workers, lawyers, and other professionals, and the journalists, somebody saying, and media practitioners. There has been a law called the Engineering Registration Act, which has been largely to enable registration of engineers, but has been limited in a way. So now this new bill repeals that old law and now provides for the entire engineering sector, touching on engineers, technologists, and technicians, because there is a difference. When people you find they hold certificates or diplomas and they call themselves engineers. Now this bill comprehensively now covers those different cadres within that profession. And the bill basically seeks to regulate the technologists and engineers who are the other cadres of engineering professionals aside from the engineers. It also is meant to provide for the licensing of the engineering professionals and also to provide for a code of conduct and ethics for the engineering professionals, which is very important, and it provides for a mechanism for inquiry into the conduct of an engineering professional who contravenes the code of ethics. Right Honorable Speaker, like I've said, the law which has been in place, the Engineers Registration Act, has been limited just to registration of engineers. Now this one is broader, and it provides for an institutional framework on how the engineering profession will be properly regulated. So in brief, that's, I really appeal to the House to support overwhelmingly this law, because it will help us to regulate the profession of engineering. I thank you very much.
Thank you, Honourable Minister. So, Chair, I understand you processed the bill and you have your report ready.
Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker, for giving me this opportunity. Right Honourable Speaker, allow me also to add my voice in congratulating you upon ascending to that prestigious position. Right Honourable Speaker and honourable members, in accordance with Rule 132 of the Rules of Procedure of Parliament, I hereby present the report of the Committee of Physical Infrastructure on the Engineering Professionals Bill 2024. In accordance with Rule 219 of the Rules of Procedure of Parliament, I beg to lay the committee report together with the minutes of the committee. I beg to lay. Right Honourable Speaker, the Engineering Professionals Bill 2024 was read for the first time on Wednesday, 28th August, and referred to the Committee on Physical Infrastructure in accordance with Rules 128 and 129 of the Rules of Procedure of Parliament for consideration and report to the House. Right Honourable Speaker, the object of the bill, I'm not going to get to that because the Honourable Minister has highlighted. And then in the interest of time, allow me skip the methodology and go straight to the committee observations. Right Honourable Speaker, the committee observes that the Engineers Registration Act, Cap 271, regulates aspects of engineers only and does not provide for the regulation of other engineering professionals, including technologists and technicians. Number two, Right Honourable Speaker, the Act provides for registration but does not provide for the licensing of the engineering professionals. Number three, the current Act does not also provide for a code of ethics or any other mechanism for inquiry into the conduct of an engineering professional who contravenes the code of ethics, hence the need to regulate the technologists and technicians who are the other cadres of engineering professionals, aside from engineers. Right Honourable Speaker, the medium-term revenue and expenditure projections for the period of the financial year 2024-25, 2028-29 indicate that the Engineering Professionals Board will operate efficiently and has the potential to achieve its goal of financial self-reliance, supporting its operations and regulatory functions without relying on external funding sources, as illustrated in Table 1. There will be direct costs in terms of board remuneration, staff salaries, regulatory functions, office running, and capital expenditure. Given the net savings, this will free up fiscal space to fund other government priorities and reduce the burden on the overall resource envelope. Right Honourable Speaker, the implementation of the bill is projected to generate cumulative revenues of Uganda shillings 9.56 billion over the medium term, financial year 2024-25, financial year 2028-29, and resulting in cumulative savings of up to 1.72 billion over the same period. I invite the honorable members to go through table 1. Right Honorable Speaker, clause 6.2, termination of membership, advocates for any member of the institution other than an honorary member who chooses to qualify for membership, chooses to be a member of the institution, and a member whose name is struck off the register of engineering professionals or is suspended from practice shall be deemed to have been expelled or suspended from the institution. This goes against the Constitution of the Republic of Uganda that advocates for the right to just and fair treatment and rights to apply for redress. Right Honorable Speaker, clause 7, 2, Council of the institution advocates for 3 vice presidents to comprise of the 15 members of the council. This is a large number given that the 3 vice presidents do not represent any particular or specific constituent or branch of engineers. This is also bound to create an unnecessary bureaucracies that are well known to be time consuming. Right Honorable Speaker, clause 19.1 provides that the board shall appoint a registrar of the board who shall be the head of the secretariat, responsible for the day-to-day operations and the administration of the board. Clause 19.6c further provides that the registrar shall cease to hold office when she or he is removed from the board. Right Honorable Speaker, this affects the independence of the registrar to perform his or her functions, given that he or she is appointed and can be removed by the board. The registrar's office is that of a public officer and should be an independent, competent officer exercising independent judgment without external influence. Right Honorable Speaker, clause 44, other offenses and penalties, subclause C, require any person who qualifies for registration under sections 22, 23, and 24, who fails or neglects to register in accordance with the sections commits an offense and is liable on conviction to a fine not exceeding 50 currency points or imprisonment and exceeding 2 years or both. The committee further observed that the forced registration may infringe on individuals' right to freedom of choice. This infringes on the rights of retired professionals, non-practicing individuals, and those who have chosen alternative career paths. Right Honorable Speaker, committee recommendations. The committee recommends an amendment that is aimed at aligning with constitutional principles of respecting an individual's autonomy and freedom of choice while accommodating diverse career paths and life choices. Right Honorable Speaker, the committee further recommends the limitation of vice presidents to 1 in order to reduce on the unnecessary bureaucracies, and further noting that a reduced number is easy to maintain and quorum is easily achieved. Right Honorable Speaker, the committee recommends that the Engineering Professionals Bill 2024 be passed into law subject to the proposed amendments. The proposed amendments of the Engineering Professionals Bill 2024. Okay. So, Right Honorable Speaker, this is the brief report.
Thank you.
Of the committee. Thank you.
It's not a brief, it's a full report.
It's a full report, Right Honorable Speaker.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Honorable, do you have a minority report, Honorable Chair?
There is a minority report, Right Honorable Speaker.
Yeah, so a minority report is part of the main report.
Okay.
So it's you to invite your colleague. It's so
Right Honorable Speaker.
It's a way of fairness and conceding that we work together.
Okay.
So you should always acknowledge that a member or certain members are disagreed on certain issues, on certain recommendations, okay? And therefore wrote a minority report and you invite them to present it.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Like you rightly noted, There is a minority report that a member has, and I would like to invite him to present.
Who is that member? You don't
Honorable Moses Kabusu.
Oh, okay.
Honorable Moses Kabusu, I invite you to present the minority report.
Thank you. Honorable
Thank you.
Kabusu.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. I want to thank the Honorable Tony Awani for leading us through the meetings and the discussions of the committee, through which both the majority and the minority report were generated. Mr. Speaker, under Rule under Rule 205 of the Rules of Procedure, I beg to lay a copy of the minority report Mr. Speaker, I beg to lay. Mr. Speaker, I want to be brief. We have a few areas of dissent and specifically relate to, I'll skip the object of the bill, the introduction, the methodology, and go strictly to our areas of dissent. Mr. Speaker, the minority observes that the long title of the bill provides for registration and licensing of engineers, technologists, and technicians. The minority view is that you need not group engineers who have completed a Bachelor of Science degree in engineering together with technicians and technologists who have only done a diploma in engineering, because their training is very different from the others. And the majority report has considered them as cadres. This is like grouping advocates, like lawyers, law clerks, paralegals, and bailiffs under the same law, especially where an institution is binding them. This would not work because all categories are different levels of training and cannot harmoniously coexist. In comparison, Mr. Speaker, we compare other professionals like the medical profession. The medical profession has a Medical and a Dental Practitioners Act, which establishes the council responsible for regulating the registration, licensing, and other related activities. There is also the Uganda Medical Association, which brings together registered medical doctors only. There is also the Allied Health Professionals Act, which covers all other roles in the health sector, including nurses and midwives, public health practitioners, medical, laboratory technicians, technologists, and others. Mr. Speaker, also having a look at the legal profession, there is an Advocates Act for lawyers who have completed a bachelor's degree in law and a postgraduate diploma in legal practice. There is also Uganda Law Society Act, which regulates or brings together lawyers, professional lawyers, and provides for their elections, mandate, and all that. So paralegals, law clerks, and bailiffs are not provided for under the laws that provide for the professional lawyers. They do not have the same legal training. They do not have the same legal training and cannot be grouped or bundled together as advocates. Probably also looking at the surveyors here in Uganda, Mr. Speaker, the surveyors are regulated by the Surveyors Registration Act. They also have the Institution of Surveyors of Uganda, which brings together professional surveyors from different disciplines, including land surveyors, quantity surveyors, valuation surveyors, and others. Other groups with surveying skills from tertiary institutions, or those with diplomas in survey, are not recognized under the laws of the association. So, Mr. Speaker and honorable members, the minority therefore recommends that professional engineers should not be grouped with technologists and technicians under the same law. Parliament should consider enacting another law to regulate categories with skills in engineering, including technicians and technologists, craftsmen, and mansions, but not to be grouped under the professional engineers. Another area of dissent, Mr. Speaker, is with the fusion of professional institutions with the regulatory bodies. The minority notes that the bill proposes to create as governing bodies the Uganda Institution of Engineering Professionals in part 2 of the engineering profession and the Engineering Professionals Board. The minority notes that while the Engineering Professional Board will register engineering professionals, and regulate their practices with membership that is appointed by the minister as suggested by Section 14(3) of the bill, Uganda Institution of Engineering Professionals, on the other hand, is a professional association with a council that shall be elected at a meeting of the institution as proposed under Section 7(3) of the bill. The minority notes with concern that creating Uganda Institution of Engineering Profession as a government body will not only contrary to the government policy of rationalization, but also bring about governance challenges and may limit or restrict the participation of other professional institutions that are recognized by the board. Mr. Speaker, we took a comparative study in Malaysia and Singapore, for example, where the Ministry of Works purportedly benchmarked. The Institution of Engineers in Malaysia is not established in the Registration of Engineers Act and Professional Engineers as respectively. Mr. Speaker, in South Africa, besides other professional bodies, for example, they are the Biomedical Engineering Society of South Africa, Clinical Engineering Association of South Africa, and the South African Federation of Healthcare Engineers, all properly established and duly regulated by the Engineering Council of South Africa. In Uganda here, associations like that of the Uganda National Association of Medical and Hospital Engineers, for example, risk being restricted or compelled to associate with others, yet they are also recognized by their different fields and associations. In Kenya and Tanzania, the equivalent of Uganda Engineering Registration Board exists separately with the institutions independent of the Act but regulated by the Act. To ensure that the law is enacted in such a way that institutions exist independently and that members do not feel restricted or compelled to associate with a particular group, the minority recommends that the bill ought to only refer to the institution and make part 2 form part of the regulation that ought to operationalize the bill by customizing its contents into a generic description of what the typical institution should look like. This will further protect the freedom of association as enshrined under the Article 29(1)(d) of the Constitution of Uganda. Registration under the Uganda Institution of Engineers Professionals and the Engineering Professionals Body. Clause 22A(1) of the bill provides that the registration as an engineer under the Engineering Professionals Board, one must be a member of the Uganda Institution of Engineering Professionals. If the Engineering Professionals Board has a mandate to register, therefore, only registered engineers should be able to join the association or institution. It should not make sense for one to first join the association and then later register. Also, that kind of operation can affect one's registration in a case that they are frustrated by the Uganda Institution of Engineering Profession. If someone faces any frustration from the Uganda Institution of Engineering Profession, the application to register with the Engineering Professionals Board cannot go forward. Thus, they cannot achieve the goal of becoming registered engineers. The minority observes with concern that it makes Uganda Institution of Engineering Profession look more exceptional than other recognized institutions I have mentioned above. Yet, these recognized institutions are also able to vet their members for presentation to the board of for registration. Uganda National Association for Medical and Hospital Engineering is one example of the established body that was formed in 1993. The body caters for specific needs of healthcare engineering professionals. It is recognized by the World Health Organization as the Healthcare Engineering National Association of Uganda, and it's affiliated with the International Federation of Health Engineers and the International Federation of Medical and Biological Engineers, as well as the Federation for East African Healthcare Engineers. We therefore, as minority, note that restricting such a recognized body to vet its members will be rational. The minority recommends that this should not be the case. Parliament should refrain from enacting a law where Uganda Institution of Engineering Profession is made part and parcel of the law. The participation of other professional institutions that are recognized by their boards ought not to be restricted. Probably second last area of dissent, Mr. Speaker, is membership of the board. The minority observes that when it comes to vetting engineering professionals for the registration at the board level, Clause 14D to GIMIN looks at the Uganda Institution of Engineering Profession as part of the vetting process, whereas other institutions are not made part of the vetting process, except for the Uganda Association of Consulting Engineers. The minority notes that this creates inequality in institutions where only Uganda Institution of Engineering Profession and the Uganda Association of Consulting Engineers are only the ones represented. The law should also provide a level where other institutions are also brought on board to participate in the vetting of members to the institution, to the board, to represent them to the board. The minority recommends that a provision be made for other institutions that are or will be recognized by the board when defining the composition of the board in section 14, to also nominate a member or more members to represent them on the board. Non-regulation and non-licensing of engineering firms and manufacturers. The minority observes with concern that besides the requirement for individual engineers to be licensed, there is a need to make sure the engineering firms are regulated and also licensed to offer the goods, works and services that they are qualified for in compliance with occupational safety, ethical and professional standards. The minority notes that we took a comparative study in South Korea. The deliberative committee registers engineering consultancy firms, where the board in the proposed Engineering Profession Act registers only individual professionals. The minority observes that it is crucial to urgently reflect on how the engineering business ought to be regulated, with a view of regulating the market, facilitating the growth of local engineering business, and protect the professionals who carry out their practice in conjunction with the engineering business. There is also a public outcry amongst engineering professionals on their business environment and practice environment, which exposes them to exploitation by foreign capital construction companies if unregulated. The minority recommends a mode for regulating this business using another law, an act of parliament, for instance, taking a comparative study in Zambia and Lesotho and other South SADC countries. In addition to the Engineering Institution of Zambia for professionals, there is also the National Council for Construction Act, which regulates business operators in the engineering industry. Under this framework, local contractors are guaranteed under government projects and other business support, and in exchange, they are obliged to train and mentor younger engineers and prepare them for professional registration. Mr. Speaker, the last area of dissent is forced registration. As a matter of emphasis, Clause 44(1)(c) of the bill penalizes any person who qualifies for registration under section 22, 23 and 24 who fails or neglects to register, the person is liable to a fine not exceeding 50 currency points or imprisonment not exceeding 2 years or both. This provision, Mr. Speaker, is not only unfair, but also infringes on the rights of retired professionals or non-practicing individuals, and those who have chosen alternative career should not be forced to register. The minority finds this provision unconstitutional. Mr. Speaker, in conclusion, the glaring pertinent issues identified here above, possibly due to lack of extensive consultation by the ministry who came up with this bill, when coming up with this bill, the minority is constrained to adopt or approve the object of the bill in its totality, and we implore the House to reject the bill in its totality. The current Engineering Registration Act, Mr. Speaker, in its current form is sufficient to regulate the engineers. What is needed is effective implementation of the current law and enacting another law to regulate probably categories of skilled people in engineering profession who were not included in the bill, like technicians, technologists, craftsmen, and masons. Mr. Speaker, I beg to submit.
Thank you. Thank you, Honorable. Now, Honorable colleagues, I'm going to open this for debate, but I wish the Attorney General was here in the midst, because I think the process of government processing or drafting a bill seems to be an extremely long process, to the extent that you end up having conflicting proposals coming into the different laws. A very good example, I was just consulting with my brother, Kweketedya James, and I called him Aria. We just processed the TVET Act, 2025, which was assented to. And that TVET Act, under Section 5, under Section 4, it establishes a council. And on functions of the council, 5.1R is register and regulate artisans, craftsmen, technicians, and technologists. This is the law we just enacted the other day. Okay? Now you bring another law, you also want to regulate. Chair, I don't know whether you considered this and asked the minister about this, or why it's this way.
Right, Honorable Speaker, we put that very particular question to the minister. One, on whether there was extensive consultation, which he said yes, they did. And then that issue was also raised, and like you rightly put, at some point we needed the guidance of the Attorney General. Thank you.
Yeah, because you see, this is the Engineering Professions Bill 2024. This is the TVET Act 2025 from the same cabinet. Huh? you get it? So, but honorable colleagues, what I propose is that let's have a debate, okay, on this. Then a general debate on this. Then I'm going to tomorrow to ask the Attorney General, the Minister for Works, the Minister for Education, the committee chairperson. We meet and we reconcile the position. And this, where does government want, or whom does government want to regulate? The technicians. Yeah. Jonathan Odur, don't cause me problems. Honorable Badiomus did us a noble duty of helping out to move a motion. Yeah. So, the Mr. No, this time let us start with Rope. He is very eager. Yes. He's very eager. Might be rushing Kawempe.
Mr. Speaker, thank you. I take your guidance, Mr. Speaker, on this matter, but with a pinch of salt, Mr. Speaker, sir, just for the first time. Because if there are contradictions, and the Attorney General's opinion, which was much sought but has not yet been secured, and the Attorney General is not here, Mr. Speaker, and given the contradicting proposals from the same cabinet, I would be of the view that instead of debating in tongues where there is a conundrum from the same cabinet, you would defer this debate to a date of your own choice, Mr. Speaker, sir, as we await the considered legal opinion of the...
No, Honorable Nambeshi, it's only on one clause, okay? This is just one clause. That's number one. Number two, we are not making a resolution. That's number two. Number three, on committee stage, also you have the debate, okay? So what I wanted was just the general debate. We concluded so that when we come back, we just go on committee stage where we will continue with the debate of these issues, but at that time we shall get guidance.
Most obliged, but I thought even if it is only one clause, it may affect the flow of debate, in my view.
The debate is not conclusive. You see, if it was conclusive, if we are going to make a resolution today,
much obliged.
Yeah, now we can get views which can also help him when he's giving guidance. Okay. Sometimes we prolong, these issues we take. I want colleagues to go and read through this report so that on Thursday we can finish this bill. Yes, Honorable Kagabo, Dr. Kagabo. Then Honorable Rita.
Thank you. Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. I must congratulate and applaud the committee, most especially the members that have come up with that robust and candid minority report. Actually, my observation, the minority report looked more lengthy and more detailed than the main report, something that makes it more lucid that surely the contestation is valid. My observation is that when you lump different sectors or stratas in this engineering sector, you are causing a very big problem that is very hard to decipher. Take a point, you want to lump engineers, technicians, and technologists and subject them to a single ethical code of conduct, which cannot work, because this would be analogous to having a veterinary
UBC, inspiring Uganda.
Hujambo mtazamaji wa UBC TV, ifuatayo ni taarifa ya habari. Unatangaziwa taarifa hii moja kwa moja kutoka studio zetu zilizoko mjini Kampala. Naitwa Bella Masangano. Katika habari ya kwanza, Rais Yoweri Museveni pamoja na viongozi wakuu wa NRM wamemfanyia kampeni mshika bendera wa NRM wa kiti cha ubunge cha Kawempe North Hajat Farida Nambi. Rais amewasihi wapiga kura wa Kawempe North kumchagua kwa kutumia hekima Hajat Nambi na kuepuka makosa ya kisiasa. Amewataka waepuke kuwachagua wagombea wa upinzani ambao hawawezi kuiunga mkono serikali. Rais Museveni alifika katika uwanja wa shule ya msingi ya Mbogo Primary School saa 9:30 alasiri kwa ajili ya kumpigia debe Hajat Nambi. Mamia ya maelfu ya wafuasi wa NRM walifurika uwanjani hapo kwa ajili ya kumsikiliza rais huku akimfanyia kampeni Hajat Nambi. Rais Museveni anajivunia amani na utulivu vilivyoletwa na serikali ya NRM na kuboresha huduma katika sekta mbalimbali, kwa mfano katika utoaji wa elimu bure, ujenzi wa viwanda na ajira kwa vijana. Ameahidi kuongeza pesa zaidi ya shilingi milioni 100 kwa kila jimbo kuwasaidia watu kujiunga na mradi wa kimaendeleo wa kuwakwamua kiuchumi ujulikanao kama Parish Development Model.
The medicine of your problems is free education in government schools.
President Achichamu abagamba nti ekimu ku kye tusobola okukolera bannayuganda okunogera Uganda eddagala erimu ku bizibu byabwe kwe kuba nti abaana tubakkiriza okusomera obwereere mu masomero ga gavumenti aga UPE, abaana basomera bwereere.
Wizara ya mambo ya nje imepeperusha bendera kuruhusu wahamasishaji 9 wa vyombo vya habari za utalii ambao ni raia wa Ufaransa na Uhispania pamoja na waandishi wa habari kuanza safari kwa ajili ya utafutaji taarifa za kitalii na kueneza elimu ya utalii wa ndani kwa ajili ya kuendelea kuitangaza Uganda na vile vile kugawana maarifa ya utalii na mataifa mengine. Katika hotuba yake, katibu wa kudumu katika Wizara ya Mambo ya Nje Vincent Bajire amegusia umuhimu wa kugawana maarifa ya utalii na mataifa mengine kupitia wahamasishaji wa utalii wa ndani. Juhudi hizo zinaongozwa na ubalozi wa Uganda nchini Ufaransa, Uhispania na Ureno. Na vile vile juhudi hizo zinalenga kuitangaza Uganda kwa watu wa Uhispania na Ufaransa na Italia pia kupitia maarifa hayo ya utalii na simulizi mbalimbali za utalii. Wahamasishaji wa utalii wameeleza kuhusu matumaini yao kwamba taarifa na elimu hiyo itaitangaza vyema Uganda nje ya nchi na kurahisisha safari za watalii kuja nchini. Ufaransa na Uhispania ni miongoni mwa nchi ambazo zinasafirisha watalii wa kigeni wengi kote duniani, ambapo Uganda inatazamia kupania fursa ya kuinua shughuli zake za utalii na urithi. Katibu wa kudumu katika Wizara ya Maji na Mazingira, Dr. Alfred Okot Okidi, ameshindwa kutoa maelezo kuhusu matumizi ya pesa zinazokadiriwa kuwa zenye thamani ya shilingi bilioni 25.31 ambazo kwa mujibu wa taarifa hazikuidhinishwa na bunge kwa ajili ya mradi wa kueneza maji safi na kwa ajili ya maeneo na miji mbalimbali. Hayo yamebainika leo baada ya maafisa kutoka Wizara ya Maji na Mazingira kufika mbele ya kamati ya hesabu za serikali PAC wakiongozwa na katibu wao wa kudumu Dr. Okidi. Walifika mbele ya kamati hiyo kujibu maswali kuhusu yale yaliyomo kwenye ripoti ya mkaguzi mkuu wa hesabu za serikali kwa ajili ya mwaka wa fedha ulioisha tarehe 30 Juni mwaka uliopita. Mwenyekiti wa kamati hiyo Muhammad Muwanga Kivumbi anasema kwamba afisa wa mahesabu anahusika sana na matumizi ya pesa hizo ambazo kwa mujibu wa taarifa zilitumika bila idhini kutoka bungeni. Lengo kuu la mradi huo ni kuisaidia serikali kutimiza malengo ya upatikanaji endelevu wa maji safi kwenye miji na kuendeleza usafi kwa watu wa maeneo ya miji pia ifikapo mwaka 2030. Taarifa zinasema kwamba mradi huo ulianza mwaka 2019 ambapo ulipangwa kumalizika tarehe 30 Juni mwaka huu. Bwana Kivumbi alitaka kujua ni kwa nini shilingi bilioni zilizobaki kati ya pesa za awali hazikutumika kwenye mradi huo, ndipo akajibiwa kwamba kipindi hicho ilikuwa ni vigumu kuagiza malighafi mbalimbali za ujenzi kutokana na mlipuko wa COVID-19. Hii ni kulingana na msimamizi mkuu wa mradi huo Dr. Felix Twino Mchunguzi. Baadhi ya wabunge wamewataka maafisa hao kuwasilisha mahesabu jumla ya pesa walizotakiwa kutumia kwenye mradi huo kwa kuwa mahesabu kwenye nyaraka zingine yanakinzana. Unaendelea kutizama taarifa hii ya habari na hii ni UBC TV. Idadi ya watu ambao wameendelea kujiunga na huduma za bima nchini imepanda. Hali hiyo inahusishwa na ushughulikiaji wa haraka wa malalamiko ya bima kwa mujibu wa mahakama ndogo zinazoshughulikia malalamiko hayo. Haya yamesemwa wakati wa uzinduzi wa wiki ya bima kwa mwaka huu 2025 uwanja wa Lugogo. Wiki ya shughuli za bima nchini iliandaliwa na mamlaka ya usimamizi wa huduma za bima pamoja na wadau kwa lengo la kuhamasisha kuhusu huduma mbalimbali za bima nchini. Wadau katika sekta ya bima wanatoa wito wa matumizi ya huduma hizo. Inatoa wito kwa wateja wa huduma hizo kukumbatia matumizi ya teknolojia na ubunifu ili kuongeza ushindani wa huduma hizo na kuzipata kwa urahisi. Tunasonga mbele na taarifa hii ya habari. Hii ni UBC TV. Makazi ya watu yaliyojengwa kwenye eneo oevu la Nambigirwa karibu na eneo la Mpala Cell kwenye barabara kuu ya Entebbe Expressway yamebomolewa. Afisa mkuu wa usimamizi wa maeneo oevu katika Wizara ya Maji na Mazingira Wilberforce Wanyama anasema kwamba majengo ya nyumba zilizobomolewa zilijengwa kwenye ardhi hiyo kinyume na sheria. Ikumbukwe kwamba mwaka 2024 mamlaka ya ulinzi wa mazingira nchini NEMA na wadau viliitisha mkutano na wakazi wa eneo oevu la Nambigirwa ambapo walipewa siku 21 kuondoka kwenye eneo hilo bila usumbufu, ila wengi walipuuza maagizo hayo na kuendelea kuishi eneo hilo. Baada ya siku hizo kuisha, ndipo mamlaka ya NEMA na wadau ilianza zoezi la kuwatimua kimabavu kwa kubomoa nyumba zao. Kuna baadhi ya wakazi walioonekana wakitoa mabati kwenye nyumba zao sambamba na mali ili zisiharibiwe. Hata hivyo, kuna baadhi ya wakazi ambao hawakukubali kiurahisi kutoka eneo hilo na badala yake wakaanza kuzozana na maafisa kutoka mamlaka ya ulinzi wa mazingira na kukimbizana na walinda usalama waliokuwepo eneo hilo. Licha ya vurugu hizo, zoezi hilo la bomoa liliendelea. Maafisa wakuu wa usimamizi wa zoezi hilo wanasema kwamba wakazi hao walipewa notisi ya kuondoka eneo hilo ila hawakuondoka. Wizara ya Maji na Mazingira inaarifu kwamba 40% ya eneo oevu la Nambigirwa limeshaharibiwa tayari kutokana na shughuli za wakazi waliokuwa wanakaa kwenye eneo hilo kinyume na sheria. Na hivi sasa, mtazamaji wa UBC TV, tupate mapumziko kutoka studio.
tubanza kusima muzeyi Museveni tibuhabuga Babyface.
I want to start by thanking Mzee Museveni Tibaburwa, Babyface, for what he has done for us. He got us from the villages when we were stuck because he saw we didn't have what to do. Right now, we are in Toro Zonal Hub, the one that trains the young generation.
Tumusima sitine bugarukiro. Eze shaha turiyo muri Toro Zonal Hub project ya muzeyi eyatiro kwegesa itwe ensinganto. Nyewe ndi carpenter.
I am now a carpenter and we do chairs, beds, doors and everything else that is found in the furniture world.
Tubanza kusima abashomesa bitu abitwine.
We want to thank our teachers. They have done a good job imparting skills to us to see that we do such things, yet we were in the villages and could not do anything. We are now waiting for graduation and put in practice what we have learned.
After graduation, tukareba twaza kutangira nkahi.
Na kuangalia habari ya mwisho kwa siku ya leo ni kwamba waziri wa madini na maendeleo yake Ruth Nankabirwa amewataka wachimbaji wa madini kuwa makini wasijeharibu madini wakati wa uchimbaji wake. Aliyasema hayo wakati wa kuwakaribisha wabunge wapya kwenye kamati ya mazingira na maliasili katika wizara hiyo. Wabunge hao pamoja na kukaribishwa wamepewa ushauri kuhusu namna ya kusimamia shughuli zao. Waziri Nankabirwa amewashauri wachimbaji wa madini kuzingatia swala la kuongezea thamani madini hayo. Na mtazamaji wa UBC TV, hadi hapo huo ndio mwisho wa taarifa hii ya habari. Asante sana kwa kutizama toka mwanzoni. Tuonane tena kesho panapo majaliwa.
UBC, inspiring Uganda.
A new dawn on Behind the Headlines with me, Timothy Nyangweso. Every Wednesday, live in our studios in the heart of Kampala, we have conversations that have analysis, explanation, but not every truth is fact, and not every fact is truth. Every Wednesday, 10 p.m. on your public broadcaster.
Broadcaster, UBC, inspiring Uganda.
Did you know that our #1 value as a nation is to respect and protect the environment? With the current population increase of Uganda and industrialization, this has increased pressure on the natural resources, resulting into environmental degradation and global warming. Developing countries like Uganda could face 80% of the global climate change effects by the year 2030 if no action is taken. Join us here on UBC TV, Inspiring Uganda, on our Eco Plus program, where we bring you an in-depth analysis of issues that are disastrous to our environment. Every Wednesday at 7:30 p.m. only on your loved station, the National Broadcaster.
Welcome to Good Morning Uganda, your go-to morning show to kickstart your day with all the latest updates.
Let's dive deep into issues that matter most to you.
In a world of stories waiting to be told, the headlines are your guide. Navigate the currents of news and knowledge with our daily updates of newspapers. Stay informed, stay empowered.
From the roar of the crowd to the thunder of victory, witness the drama unfold with our sports updates. Whether on the field or in the stands, join us as we celebrate the spirit of champions.
Rise with Good Morning Uganda, weekdays from 6:30 a.m. In a nation hungry for truth, a world where every story matters, there exists a beacon